The first nuclear submarine. It was the height of the Cold War, and tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union were at an all-time high. Both superpowers were investing heavily in military technology, and the race for nuclear supremacy was in full swing. It was in this context that the U.S. Navy launched its first nuclear submarine, the USS Nautilus, on the 21st of January 1954. The Nautilus was a marvel of modern technology. Unlike conventional submarines, which had to surface regularly to recharge their batteries, the Nautilus had a nuclear reactor that could power it for months. It was faster, quieter and more maneuverable than any other submarine in the world. But the real test occurred on the 3rd of August 1958, when the Nautilus went down in history, becoming the first submarine to pass under the North Pole. The mission was top secret, and the crew had been preparing for months. They knew that the journey would be dangerous and that their lives were at stake. The Nautilus departed from Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, on the 23rd of July 1958. The crew spent the next 2 weeks sailing through the icy waters of the Arctic Ocean, carefully avoiding any contact with Soviet submarines. They experienced low temperatures, rough seas, and cramped living quarters, but their mood remained high. They knew they were part of something historic. On the 3rd of August, 1958, the Nautilus reached the North Pole. The crew applauded and celebrated, knowing that they had achieved something no one had ever done before. But their joy was short-lived. Just 3 minutes after reaching the North Pole, disaster struck. The Nautilus nuclear reactor began to malfunction, and the crew realized that they were in serious danger. The reactor overheated and the ship was at risk of exploding. The crew rushed into battle, trying to cool the reactor and prevent a catastrophe. They knew that time was running out and that they had to act quickly. They worked feverishly for 3 long minutes, trying to stabilize the reactor and save their ship. And then, miraculously, the crisis passed. The reactor stabilized and the crew breathed a sigh of relief. They knew they had barely escaped disaster and that they were incredibly lucky. The Nautilus limped back to port, its crew exhausted but triumphant. They have done something historic, but they have also learned a valuable lesson. Nuclear technology was powerful, but it was also dangerous. The Nautilus has shown what it is capable of, but it has also demonstrated the risks associated with it. USS Nautilus continued to have a long and distinguished career, serving as a symbol of American military power for decades. But for those on board during that fateful mission to the North Pole, the memory of those 3 tense minutes will remain with them forever.